Yes, you can.
My voice is so shot, man. I can't yell because if I yell, dude, my voice is hoarse.
You're gonna be all right.
I threw up today.
I think we need to call the ambulance.
Yeah, I'm sick, but I figured if we're gonna do one thing today, like we're gonna knock out a podcast. Today I came down pretty sick. Tommy's been loading me up with he's like, come here, take this vitamin B12 and take this vitamin C and vitamin T, Tylenol and all this other stuff. And so I'm hopped up on goofballs, man. You ran down to the store, got some Carneceria. You're like, what's the name of that store? How do you pronounce it? Because it looks like Carneceria.
No, that's not where I went. I went to the gym, and then I was kind of craving some carne asada and like a Corona.
Yeah.
So on the way home, I stopped by this little grocery store called Big Saver, just like a little Mexican place.
Yeah.
But what you're talking about?
The one over on Alondra?
Yeah.
Okay. By the El Pollo Loco.
Used to be what did it used to be back?
I think it was
Alpha Beta.
Yeah, it was an Alpha Beta, dude.
Yeah.
And it was also a Lucky's at one point.
And the Lucky's. Yeah.
I think it was last Lucky's, and then before that, an Alpha Beta. So it's
Alpha Beta, dude.
Yeah.
Hashtag throwback.
That's 90s stuff right there.
So I cruised in there, man. I was just like, all right, let's go find some carne asada. And then there was two kinds of carne asada there. She's like, do you want the season or the no season?
Yeah.
And I was like,
they actually had a butcher there, or?
Yeah. And they have a full meat market in there. And it was $2.99 a pound for the stuff I got, or you can get like the stuff that's already marinated in crappy orange juice or whatever.
You said $2.99 a pound?
Yeah, $2.99 a pound. Or if you wanted the good stuff, it was like $6.99 a pound.
Because you only bought 1 pound of meat, right?
1 pound of meat.
'Cause I remember you came home and I'm like, how much was all the stuff you bought? And you're like, it was like $22. Mm-hmm. You bought a pound of meat, but that fed both of us.
Pound of meat, 12 tortillas, 2 limes.
Yeah.
I'm
not trying to call you out on what you bought.
And
what about the other half that I paid for?
Not at all.
I was so you got the tortillas. That's probably like $2. Yeah, dude. It's I haven't been in that store in a long time. Last time I was in there, though, store like Big Saver, they're different than the traditional Ralph's or Vaughn's or something like that.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of stuff that I was looking for.
Yeah, that you walk in, they got like the display full of pan dulce, and I think they're it's clear who they're catering to. It's not white people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, the food's good.
I asked one of the guys that was working there. I was like, "Do you guys have cold brew coffee?" And he was just like, "¿Qué?" I was like, cold brew like Starbucks.
¿Por qué?
And he's like, ¿Qué?
And he's like, "Jale."
He's like, Starbucks food. No, it's down the street food. And they didn't have that. And
you're on the wrong. You're in the wrong place.
You're from around here, are you?
Hey, what are you from Santa Monica or what, man? Charlie with your hair combed.
Yeah, so that was pretty bum. And then it's relatively cheap. What you were kind of talking about earlier, the Carneceria, which basically translates to like butcher shop, I believe.
Translate to what?
Butcher shop.
Yeah, well, Carneceria, I thought it was carne asada, and we spotted that place the day that I actually moved in here, which was December 15th. It's like a month ago. Mm-hmm. We were over at Alondra Hot Wings, which is a great place for hot wings if you haven't been there. Yeah. It's in Paramount, off of Alondra, obviously. So coming from our house, it's only just a few miles. You go in there, we always go there at like the right time too. It's like always like happy hours, so it's like half off of wings. Yeah. And it's like the super cheap, like 6 wing sets, for just a few bucks, and then we'll end up getting like 6 of the sets, to like fill up.
And they bring them all on separate plates.
Yeah.
You could have put them all on the same plate.
But what I noticed was, they give you, they're wasting a lot in overhead. They're giving you a lot of ranch and a lot of blue cheese, just way more than you need. Like, they're giving you like giant cups of it and ranch.
And I don't even eat that crap.
Yeah, and we're like, here, do you want to take this back? Because it was like these big freaking cups, and and it's good to have a lot, because the worst thing is to go get wings and you don't have enough.
Right.
And there's I hate that when there's a shortage of like dipping sauces or whatever. So, but they really overdo it, man. Like,
I feel like that stuff's a waste in itself. Like, if you're going to get freaking hot wings, dude, you don't need to drown it in ranch or blue cheese.
No, dude, the blue cheese is great.
It takes away from the flavor.
No. I think when I go to get hot wings, I always we asked, I think, for the hot wings, and then you said, is there anything off the menu hot? What can you do? And there's just like beyond hot. I'm always trying to get the hottest wing I can possibly get. I don't know what it is, but the combination of a hot wing and blue cheese is just like my mouth is watering right now.
Yeah.
Like we haven't eaten dinner.
I'm such a wing connoisseur.
I'm ready for wings right now. I can honestly go for some wings.
I had wings last night and the night before.
Yeah, well, you're a whale, dude.
That was just I don't want to say accident, but 2 days ago I picked up some for lunch for my wife and I got Wingstop.
Yeah,
and I got
it was a lemon pepper.
Just lemon pepper.
You know how I know that? This is a sad story, but I came home and I think you were asleep already. But there was a plate out and there was like one full wing. And the rest were bones and there was like a few carrots. And I hadn't eaten dinner, and I got home late and I just saw that wing, dude, and it had like its own little heartbeat. And I saw it and I was like, he's not gonna miss it. And I just picked up that wing. And I ate it. Like it was lemon pepper, which I don't like Wingstop. I always thought that their wings were super dried out. There's like no fat on them, not enough meat. They're just like these dried out, wings.
You must have just went there on a bad time or had a bad taste in your mouth because every time I go there, they have the fattest freaking wings.
Nah.
I actually asked them for a little extra seasoning than they normally do.
Yeah.
And this time was a little bit overboard on seasoning.
Right.
But it was still good. And nevertheless, I was only able to eat like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And I was full. And then my wife orders always carrots. Right. She loves carrots.
Carrots are good with wings, though. Carrots
She'll
and ranch
eat 36, freaking things of carrots before she even eats a wing. It's like
carrots and celery are one of those weird sides that go with wings. Like a fries would come with a burger, but for some reason, somewhere along the line, someone figured out that anything that could possibly go well with ranch, just like a wing, they're gonna put it on there, like freaking carrots and celery. But anyway, enough about freaking wings. I think look the last experience, like you're right, one of the last experiences I had, and even that night, like the skin on the wings from Wingstop, it's like this thick rubber that you have to like tear through. It's just like it's an overboard crunch on the outside. It's not, and it's just not much of a like just sink your teeth into it kind of a wing.
Yeah.
It's more of a rip it off the bone kind of a wing.
Last night we ordered, because my wife was really wanting pasta. She's like, I want chicken Alfredo. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I'm not trying to drive anywhere. So we ordered Pizza Hut. They have pretty good little family size things and it's pretty decent chicken Alfredo. Yeah. And I was like, I'm getting some friggin'
Wait,
wings.
So that's the chicken Alfredo that's in the fridge right now?
Yeah.
Okay, that looks good. You guys didn't eat very much of it.
It was good. It came in 2 pans. There's only 1 pan left.
Okay.
So we got like the family size, so you have, because it's good for the next 2 days or so.
Right.
But then I got some wings. I actually like what Pizza Hut's doing with their wings because it comes in like this like circle plastic tub basically, and it's got all the wings and it has like some sauce in there. So when you get it,
you shake it up,
and it's then the wings are all fresh.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
And then even like after you've been eating for a while, all the juice kind of starts to sit. You just reshake them, and you're good to go.
No, I like that, dude.
I like that feature.
That's the way to deliver wings. But also, even if you were at a restaurant, I'd be okay with that.
Because if it comes in just like one of those little plastic things, and they maybe have like a foil in there, they just get all soggy.
Yeah, they do get soggy. But that's if you go to like kind of like one of those like divey places around here, like
shop.
Tam's Wings or something like that. They're gonna give it to you in the foil, and then at some point, there's certain foods where you kind of have to eat them right off the bat. A lot of these places in Bellflower, they make great food, but you let it sit for a day, it's a different story.
That's how kind of I kind of feel about In-N-Out.
Yeah,
In-N-Out fries.
Yeah, they go stale.
I remember we used to live like 15 minutes from In-N-Out. And by the time you'd go there, get your food, come back, and you eat it at the house, they're disgusting. Yeah. You almost have to eat those bad boys when they're piping hot. Yeah. Or else it's like, it's kind of a waste. They get all soggy and it's kind of nasty.
No, there's even sodas like that. Like, I always thought Coca-Cola tasted fine if it was super cold. Obviously, it tastes great if it's super cold, or if it's kind of warm, like it's still fine. But Pepsi, for some reason, if it's warm, just tastes like hell.
Have you ever tasted
it's just awful.
A warm Monster energy drink?
No,
dude, it's
I don't think so. Any Monster energy drink I've ever bought, and it's been a long time since I bought an energy drink. It was probably a Monster or like one of those Rockstars. I don't know if they still sell Rockstar.
Yeah,
but they had like the Rockstar, and they had like the I think it was like a punch version. I don't know, whatever. And those things do give you energy. Like, I remember we would go out and like when I was really involved in film, go out and film like the bands playing late at night, and I'd drink 1 or 2 of those, and be riding up there, and they give you energy, but Anytime I ever bought one that was just like right from an Arco or a 7-Eleven, and you just down it like right there, grab a scratcher on your way out.
Yeah, the blue rock stars are really good, like a blueberry one. But I had a cold monster in the fridge the other day, and I bought it randomly. I don't really buy energy drinks anymore, but it was really good, really cold. And then I left it on the counter, and then I came back like an hour later. It was already warm, and I drank it. I was like, oh,
it tastes nasty.
It's disgusting, dude. It was like just like cold or just non-cold, like cough syrup tasting. Just blech.
Yeah, that's what it's got to be cold. Yeah, there's another blueberry energy drink, the not Rockstar, but who's the original? Red Bull. Red Bull, I think, started
they have like a cranberry one.
Dude, the red one, and then they have like the sugar-free or whatever. Mm-hmm. That blueberry one, dude, that's a game changer. I remember I had one of those like my first day at my job that I have right now, and just being like, dang, this is freaking delicious, man, But, being out here back in, where we are, Bellflower, and, working out in Santa Monica, there's a similarity that I noticed, and you actually brought it up to me, was like, what are all these bikes coming from?
Oh yeah.
So like when I would come back, we had family that lived out here in Bellflower, and there was never this program where there was just bicycles everywhere. I've seen it in Santa Monica, because they're what they call Hulu bikes, and they're these green bikes that basically you rent out, you slide your credit card on the back of the bicycles. There's actually a little slide path, for you to put your credit card. Super cheap, you rent them by the hour or however long you're riding, it's maybe like a quarter or whatever. But as far as the collection system, I think in Santa Monica there's enough stations to where you can drop them off almost anywhere in the city. And Bellflowers, I think it's different because they're yellow.
Yeah, they're yellow.
I don't know whose they are.
There's a little swipe thing on the back.
Right.
But I've noticed there's no station for them. They're everywhere.
They're just everywhere.
It's like you ride till you're going to keep riding, and then you just stop and leave it.
On the sidewalk.
I'm seeing people leave them just in their front yard. Like a little... It's like, what?
I think they lock up. I think if you're...
Oh, I'd absolutely...
Once you're not paying...
And I'm sure they have a tracking device in there and everything.
Yeah, dude, that's pretty cool. I guess, if you need, a bicycle out of nowhere, it's kind of like if you needed an Uber or something like that, but for some reason you felt like riding a bicycle, being a little healthier. Especially in a city like Santa Monica, something like that could actually get you around quicker than being in a car.
Yeah,
where the traffic is just insane. And being back over here at Bellflower after years and years of not being here, one key difference I've noticed is a major pickup in traffic, and how much more traffic there is. I remember when we were kids and we lived here, it just being kind of...
And the drivers suck.
Dead. A little more dead. Yeah, the drivers suck out here, but there's so many more people. Mm-hmm. Just, maybe it was obviously the millennials who just had way too many kids. The entitled generation kind of sit around the house.
Plus, when you have a city that just keeps building apartment complexes. There's apartment complexes everywhere now.
Fill them up with babies.
So they're all filled up with families. They're not... compared to just a house that takes up a lot of space,
right?
And when you're building a big complex and it goes 7-8 stories plus up, you can fit so many more people in there in that little area. Then it's the same, but then you have 50 more cars on that street.
Yeah,
they have a parking garage.
And where are they during the day? They're all underground in some parking garage. I was laughing because you told me you went over to the Fluff and Fold, which is it is a laundromat around the corner from our house, and you said that you were driving over there and some druggie came flying out of the front driveway into the street, not turning left or right, but proceeding opposite, not an opposite direction.
So it was the street.
He's going north and south on an east and westbound lane.
Correct.
Okay.
So he went straight all the way across the double yellow line, all the way across incoming and oncoming traffic into another apartment complex.
Straight out of that driveway into another driveway.
And then he parks, and like 5 kids get out. I'm like, you just endangered like 6 people's lives right now, plus all the people that are in incoming traffic, dude.
But I'm shocked. Like, how were you watching him long enough to see like all the kids get out of their car? Did you go and park at Fluff and Fold and walk back?
No.
To the street
I wasn't even. I was going to to work or something, and I came up. I saw him go across all the way, and then I stopped at a light because there was traffic, and then I saw him park, and like a bunch of people got out into the complex. And they didn't park in like a garage or anything. They just kind of parked on the side.
What do you think about that fluff and fold? Because, you know, I'm coming from an apartment complex. You're coming from an apartment complex. And we both, like we talked about in the last episode, moved here to Bellflower to create our own studio and have a place where we kind of lived in the same spot. Obviously, an apartment complex it's very rare. I know there are some, like out in Anaheim. We have friends that live out in Anaheim where they have washing machines and they have dryers inside their apartments. But
a lot of like 2 bedrooms will have a washing machine. That's like from the complex that we were at. Yeah. Like a 2 bedroom will have like a nice washer and dryer. We didn't have one, so we would just have to pick up our stuff and walk it. Maybe I don't know, 200 feet to like where the washer and dryer were. And then, come back and forth. But now we have to actually drive to the to the laundromat because we don't have a washer right now. We just have a dryer. Yeah. So we're kind of on the lookout for a washer right now. But we go to this little laundromat around the corner. Uh-huh. Dude, I don't think I ever been to a laundromat. Maybe one time.
I had not either. And like you were saying, it's typical for a 2-bedroom maybe to have one, but not for a studio or a 1-bedroom like we're coming from.
I might have been a couple times when I needed to wash like our big quilt.
Or camping. If we were out camping and we're in like Catalina.
Sleeping bag, you wanted to wash it. Something like that. Yeah. But we would never ever go to a laundromat because we'd always have one around close. But
or had one at home.
You just see just all kinds of weird people at the laundromat. And it's funny because the one that we go to is owned by some like Asian people. Yeah. And no offense, but there's this Asian guy in there, and he just thinks he's hot shit. Yeah. He walks around and he's like, "Hey man, hey man."
He knows everyone's name.
He comes out yesterday or the other day when I was doing laundry.
I met him yesterday.
I had freaking headphones on, which means don't talk to me.
Right.
And he comes up to me, and I can see him talking to me, but I have my headphones blaring, and so he looks like, you know what he's saying. I take my headphones off. I'm like, what? And he's just like, "Hey man, how you so tall?" And he's like, I can understand 75% of what he's saying. Yeah. And then he fist bumps me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And I guess he just wants to be friendly with his customers. He's got like a regular t-shirt on, but then he has a vest on. Like, like those North Polar, I don't know, whatever they are, vests. I'm like, it's like 80 degrees outside. Why are you wearing a vest, bro?
Yeah, dude. He's just like, he's almost kind of like the 80s like an 80s, like kind of a hip hop, Asian or something like that. But I met him yesterday. He gave me a fist bump too. I think that's his thing for like, kind of bonding with white people.
Yeah.
My question for him was,
you're the second white person in the whole month.
Yeah. The other one was you. I peeked into the little office he has in there, and I imagine people go to the office in there for, maybe get change or whatever. And he had a stack of money, in a place like that. There's people that go to the laundromat and literally sit there all day waiting for their laundry to be done. Dude, I don't get that.
There was a guy in there doing his laundry when I was
think
leaving.
They're going to steal their money.
Yeah. And he had his own speaker in there. Like a legit standalone Bluetooth speaker. It's like bum bum bum.
Just waiting.
Bum.
Yeah. Just loads of laundry to be done.
Watching my laundry go round and round, fool.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
I haven't gotten to that point, like if I'm gonna drop off laundry,
I got stuff to do.
I'm like, dude, I'm leaving. I'll be back. But I don't think, I've never actually come back right when the laundry was done. I'll come back in 2 or 3 hours.
Oh no! Because then your clothes will start to stink at that point.
Yeah.
If I know I'm gonna go do other errands. I'm gonna set my alarm on how many minutes it is, and I'm gonna go and do all those things that I need to do. Uh-huh. And then either that or throw the laundry into the dryer, or just take it back home and then pop it in the dryer at home. But,
yeah.
It's so random, man. Having to do that stuff again, Yeah,
but, it's not bad, And I went there yesterday. I witnessed the Asian guy. He gave me a fist bump, but yesterday was probably the longest total amount in one day that I actually spent inside the laundromat, and that was because, when I was living in the apartment in Downey, prior to living here, it was $1.25 for washer and $1.25 for the dryer. And this place, you throw, it's like $2.50 for, basically it's called a 2-load, and you throw it all in there. It's like a front-facing washing machine and everything like that. And but you load the soap in from the top, and the one key difference between the machines from the apartment from this place was that there were different steps on the front, so it like walks you through like what step the washer's on. So like there's like preload, then main wash and all that stuff, and that stuff to me is just like foreign. I'm like, whatever, I don't care about all that stuff. Just show me the cup to throw the soap in.
You throw a bar of soap in there. Is this good?
Yeah. Well, there's 4 slots, and there's one that looks almost like the symbol for gasoline, which is like kind of like a. Just like a can, detergent. Like a can with like a long spout for the gas to come out, and then one with like it looks like a little like sun, or like the little symbol on your iPhone for brightness. It looks just like that, and it looks like that. And I guess that's for fabric softener. The one with the spout that looks like gasoline, that's for your main wash, and then some other random symbols for your pre-wash. Who came up with these emojis? Yeah, it was really confusing, and basically I thought that the soap wasn't going down. It was like right when I started it. I couldn't see this. I opened the little hatch where I poured the soap in, and it just wasn't going down. So that Asian guy comes over, and I could tell he's explained this a million times, but it takes the soap in depending on what slot that is, and what step the washing machine is. Right. So it has like 9 steps, and then once it gets to that step, and so this one once it gets to step 3, then that soap goes in. But I've never heard of the difference between pre-wash soap and main wash soap.
Well, you have laundry detergent and you have fabric softener.
Yeah.
Those are the main 2.
Yeah, but this one's neither of those.
It has 4.
Yeah, there's 4 things, and it's like, but what's the difference between pre-wash and main wash?
I have no idea.
Yeah, neither did I, and it's just, there's always just been one slot for one soap, and then there's fabric softener if you want to.
Right.
And you could throw in that little pad in the dryer, like the little fabric softener pad that makes it smell good or whatever.
That's, for the dryer.
But, other than that, Fluff and Fold is, never a place that I ever thought I'd be either. And I remember when it was a bakery before called Golden Bakers.
Yeah, we used to walk by there before we would go to, on our way to school.
Yeah, and I remember, I never realized there was a giant parking lot in the back. But you go back there and there's like all those white plastic chairs with just those like homeless looking people waiting for their laundry to be done. They just sit there all day waiting. It's just so low life, but
it is pretty low life.
It's just sad,
and it's just these are just some of the things that we have to get through with moving into a new house. A new house. Once we have our washing machine next week or in 2 weeks, whatever. We won't have to go to that garbage place again.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of liked about not living in an apartment anymore, because I was living downstairs, is having noisy neighbors upstairs.
Right.
And that was great. I was like, oh, this is a great transition. Mm-hmm. And yesterday, I'm just chilling, and our neighbor behind us is bumping the most crazy loud reggaeton music. And it's like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, hey! And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
Reggaeton?
Like, it's reggaeton music, dude. It's Spanish music. Like, right. And I'm just like, Christ. It's so loud, dude. And it's, so I go and peek over the fence, and they have a Bluetooth speaker on their patio, and all their doors and windows are shut, and there's nobody in the backyard.
Right.
I'm like, who are
you? It was loud, too.
Who are you playing this music for?
No one. There was no one back
there. Are you having a ghost party back here? Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah. Dude, I was in the backyard just watering, and they had that playing, and I was having, like, an anxiety attack from the music. I was like, dude, I was, like, so mad. It was just so loud.
Yeah.
And so, ridiculous. For no reason, I was just back there watering, and it was just, da-da-da-da. I was, like, freaking out. It was crazy.
Yeah. I was like, come on, guys. Jesus Christ. Turn it down. So I was really almost like about to freaking go and put one of my Bluetooth speakers on the phone and just start playing some crazy EDM, just like
yeah,
just start partying back there. Man, one thing. So the other night, 2 nights ago, I went. My buddy Jason had his big dirty 30. That was a lot of fun. So I went to a little nightclub.
Where at?
It was called Envy Lounge in like Newport Beach.
Uh-huh.
A lot of fun. Met up, had some pregame. Went to the club. Had a table. There was probably like 50, 55, 60 people probably that came out. I would say.
Yeah.
It was a good amount of people. I was it was hilarious because I was sitting in our like little bottle service area, and he had this big old cake. Uh-huh. Somebody brought him a big cake with sparklers, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And do you know those little tiny baby bottles that come in, like you can buy from the liquor store?
Yes.
They're just like a little tiny ones.
Or you get them on the airplane or something.
On the airplane, exactly. They had those sticking out all over the cake.
Oh, jeez.
There's tequila, vodka, all this stuff. And I pulled one of them off, licked all the frosting off, and I was trying to open it, dude, and I couldn't quite like open it. And I'm just like, so, I put it in my mouth and tried to just turn the bottle cap.
Right.
And I freaking broke a tooth.
Yeah. So, you know what? And I thought you were trying to take like a bottle cap off. I didn't realize it was one of those little mini bottles.
Yeah, it was just one of those little bitty. I was like, I could probably.
And there probably are twist offs.
They are twist offs,
which means that tooth was probably just decayed or, like was ready to crack off anyway.
Yeah,
it could have come off on a pancake.
I think it had like a temp on it, and I need to just get it like a crown or something.
Maybe, but that's gonna be probably a pretty expensive fix.
It probably is. Thank God for dental insurance. Which I have. But that's going to be something I'm going to go do this week.
Yeah, I hope so. You showed me yesterday, and it looked like, when you have a crown put on, or you have, something like that done, sometimes they're grinding a piece of your tooth off, put that thing over a cap.
Yeah.
And so that cap, did you find the cap? Where did the rest of the...
It didn't have a cap on it yet. It had like a temporary cap before they put on... Huh?
Do you still have that part that came off?
No, it was just like a little, just like whatever kind of cement they had on there.
Right. So
it wasn't like an actual cap. Yeah. I like spit it out. And I went to the bathroom and I looked at it and I was like, oh, fudge, dude.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it. I got to go to the dentist now. But it's time. I need to go to the dentist anyway. It's been a couple months. It's time for a new visit and get all new teeth. Just kidding. But the second shitty thing about that night is... pretty much like after it was all over, like 1:30, 2 o'clock. I have to excuse my sick brother. He has SARS or something. There was this food truck outside of the club, and they're just grilling burritos and tacos and everything else. Dude, that smell.
Diarrhea forever,
dude. You just smell so good, dude. And it's always just like such a good. Just seems like just such a good idea,
right?
And that burrito was delicious. But the next day,
it was not.
It was diarrhea-licious, man. I was thrown up out of my ass. And one of my other buddies, Daniel, got sick from it too. He's like, dude, I had some tacos out that truck. I've been throwing up all day. And I was just like, man, that was just a double whammy for me, man. Busted tooth and the freaking runs the next day. That was not a freaking win.
Yeah. Well, make sure you get that freaking tooth, dude. It's true though. A lot of times those street vendors, I think it's the onion, because it's always so tempting to buy something off them. I remember being at a club, or it was like an Irish festival. I went with the same guys, the Chacon brothers. I went with them maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Came outside and they weren't cooking it. It wasn't even one of those food vans before those became very popular. It was literally like a shopping cart, and then they had on top of the shopping cart was like a big giant metal pan.
Oh, those are danger dogs.
And then on top of that pan was almost like a grill.
It's a hot dog.
Yeah. And then
they wrap it in bacon.
It's on foil. Yeah, and it's danger dog.
That's a danger dog.
It's a hot dog, and there's onions on there, and it looks so good.
Oh, it smells good. You can smell it a mile away.
And I bought one. And then I ate it, and I got sick the next day.
You know what?
How did they get away with that?
I was working in the nightclub industry. Well, first off, those things aren't regulated, dude. It's just some Maria, and they have like a little hot plate.
They're not regulated.
They're not at all.
Yeah.
So,
but everyone.
Yeah, it's roll the dice, bro.
Yeah.
It's roll the dice. I used to work in the nightclub industry, and I would run party buses to nightclubs every weekend, sometimes twice a weekend. And after the club, dude, around 1:30, 2 o'clock. Everybody comes out, I'm getting everybody back onto like a party bus. Dude, there's always some person within like a 30, second walk that was cooking one of those danger dog carts. And we would all get them, dude. And we put everything on them. You gotta have a hot dog, it's wrapped in bacon, put peppers, onions, mustard, mayo, ketchup, everything, dude. Right. Anything you want, extra onions.
Yeah.
And it's like the most amazing thing you can eat. It's like 5,000 calories probably.
It is, but the catch is that A, it smells good, B, it's cheap, and C, it's right in front of you.
Right.
So it's just there's no going back.
I actually never gotten sick from one of those, and I've eaten my fair share of those.
From a danger dog?
From a danger dog spot.
So you got sick from an actual food truck?
I got sick from a food truck. But anyways, man, those things are awesome. The food is amazing.
Yeah.
But you just feel like a fat piece of shit that next day, especially after you've been drinking, all night.
Uh-huh.
And one thing is, man, obviously everyone's like, their New Year's resolution is, I'm just got to get back in shape. I got to go start going to the gym again, which I actually have been, dude. I've been going to the gym the last 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And it's been nice. It's been nice to get back in shape. And it's not like I'm saying I'm, in crazy shape again or anything, but it's nice to be going consistently again.
Right. So you actually signed up for a new...
Yeah, so I had quit 24-hour fitness, and then I was kind of looking for something else. And I was going to an active gym, which is like the most basic one you can go.
Active?
An active. Okay. And then now I'm going to a super sport, which has a basketball court that I'm never going to use. Yeah. It's got a swimming pool that I'm probably never going to use. Actually, maybe. I might be down to go swimming sometime. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's good, dude.
But it's nice. It's got a sauna. It's got a steam room. It's nice. And it's a huge facility.
All the easy stuff.
Sitting down. I used to be so spoiled because our gym before was literally in our backyard. We could just walk to the gym from our house.
Yeah.
Now it's like we have to actually physically get in our car and drive to the gym. It's not far. It's like 7-8 minutes away. But it's nice, man. It's nice. And what I've been going to, like, after I finish my workout, I've been doing this steam room, which I've never ever been since I started at this place. Uh-huh. And dude, steam rooms are freaking awesome. You go out of there just feeling so good, like you're just sweating like a freaking pig. It's a good feeling, dude. It's a good feeling.
Have you had any funny experiences inside the steam room?
Yeah.
There's always somebody, dude, because I remember like some fat guy when I was like 19, like standing up, and he was in there and like he was like, ugh, and like I remember like sweat falling off of his belly, like, and striking my back, and like when I was a kid, I thought
bacon grease.
Yeah, like he's like stood up, he was right behind me, and like some of his like the beads of sweat like hit my back, and I thought it was funny, like I was like laughing.
Well,
I was like, what the heck?
It might have not been from him unless you see it, unless you saw it, because since it's so wet and moist in there,
right?
It actually drips from the ceiling.
Yeah, but it was just the timing was too good, man. It was like right when he got up.
You're like, oh, you pig.
Yeah, but he could have caused some kind of chemistry in the room, where the beads of water on the ceiling dropped off. And it's funny because whenever you're in one of those, there's always like that one guy who has like the what's that tea tree oil, and he throws it on the rock, or whatever the burner is in the room, just so the whole thing smells like, what I'm talking
eucalyptus
about?
Or something.
Eucalyptus smell, dude.
Okay, there was this little tiny Asian lady that was in there, dude. She was flopping around like a jellyfish. Like she was in a swimsuit. She's probably 50 years old, and there's like two little seat areas. There's like a one, and then it's like another one. I don't know how to explain that. And she was on the bottom step,
like
and
bleachers,
she was
2-layer bleacher.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's all tile, and she's laying on the bottom step, if you will, and she is just going into convulsions. It looks like, right. And she's rubbing her belly like crazy, like fast, like she's thinking she's doing some kind of cardio or something. Asian people do the silliest stuff at the gym, man. But there was one time that I had went into the steam room before I even had any respect for the steam room back in the day, because I never went into the steam room, period.
Yeah.
Even when I worked there. And I caught 2 Asian dudes, pot bellies, freaking with a white towel wrapped around, and they were cooking fish in the steam room. Because the whole gym smelled like fish. And I was like, man, I have to go investigate. So I'm looking all over, looking, for anything like a tuna can or like a... And then I'm looking to the bathrooms, and the smell is just getting stronger and stronger. Lead all the way up. I open up the steam room, and it's just like...
No way.
And it's just all fish smell. Disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
They had the steam room that's like shooting up, and then they had a piece of foil over the little steam thing with like some like holes kind of like punctured into there.
Wow.
And they had 2 pieces of fish lying on there.
Just cooking.
You can't make this crap up, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't.
That's pretty savage, dude.
It was savage for sure. And they're just cooking and just steaming a fish.
or they were.
I'm like, dude, this is not Vietnam. What are you doing, bro? Like, dude. Get out of here, dude. Like, that is just disgusting, dude.
Yeah, well, I imagine it took a while to get that smell out.
Yeah,
and every once in a while, you'll see them, hose those things out. Sometimes they really. Those rooms, they're tricky, because there's so much sweat and just, toxic, waste coming out of your body in those rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And you always see like the dry seat, wood seat or whatever, and then you lay down there and you can see all this soaking sweat that came out of your body onto that seat. And then that dries up, but you're not the first person to lay there and watch all that sweat just come out of you like that. Like there's probably so many salts just dried into that wood, just human sweat that is dried there over, time after time, and it's a little that's the experience, at least in like, what do you call it, a hot room. But the sauna, the wet sauna is where it's like
that's a steam room.
Steam room is, I would prefer that.
A sauna's dry heat.
Yeah, I like the steam room more. It's like you don't have to like. Because in the steam room, it's kind of hard to see around,
It's super hard.
And when you're in a room full of just like fat people, you don't want to accidentally make eye contact with anybody. There's always like that fat guy.
And it's co-ed too.
Around. Huh?
And the place that I go is co-ed.
Dude, I'm like missing the gym now that you're talking about it, because I have so many, like, I think maybe, and I know you used to work there, where you didn't spend a lot of time inside the steam room, but I always did because I was always swimming. I did a lot of swimming when I would go to the gym when I was like 19 and 20, when I was really hitting the gym and I was skinny.
Yeah.
And all I did was swim. And it was the only time in my life where I was pretty thin. And
it's a good exercise because you're using all your muscles.
It really works. And then right when you get out, you're all huffing and puffing, you're tired. That's when you sit down and you let your body just sweat it out. After that point, you take a shower. You feel good after that.
You feel great.
You feel really good. And I remember, what really, this was, I stopped going to the gym and I'm still paying for it. I still have it on my account. So it's still actually, I pay for it every month, but it's been years since I've gone. It was the transition from Bally's to LA Fitness, and it was when Bally's was running out of money.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was very clear in the front, right up front when you walk in, it's like all these elliptical machines or the weight machines, and some of them were broken, but it was even more evident once you got to the bathroom that they were running out of money because they didn't have money to pay janitors. The showers were all so dirty, just the bathrooms all clogged. You've never seen a gym restroom look worse than it did, and those restrooms require high maintenance, just somebody dedicated, just cleaning it up at all times.
Constantly.
Yeah, because there's just going to be paper towels. Nobody respects it, you're just in there to change real quick, but there's just crap all over the place, and especially in...
I'm going to one in Cerritos.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
Right.
And it's like, the bathrooms are always really well kept. Kind of going back to when I used to work at the gym, the difference was back then is they had paper towels in the gym. So people would abuse that shit, and they'd pull out a whole paper towel roll just to dry their body off.
Yeah,
that's disgusting. And then they would
throw it on the ground. They would throw it on the ground.
Dude, probably. we had people taking paper towels and folding it, just like rolling it, and making that as their lock on their locker inside there. Like they would tie it. I'm like, and then they would come up to us. Oh, my locker got broken into. Oh, well, what were you using? Oh, the paper towel. Like, wow. You can't use a paper towel.
I've never seen that, and I've never heard that before in my life. That's interesting.
So now the gym that I go to, it's a little bit more expensive, but they give you free towels there. So when you check in, you just grab a nice fresh towel, and once you're finished with your workout, you just throw it in the bin.
That's great,
and it's nice.
Yeah,
and that eliminates paper towels.
Water, throw in some ice water, and that's good.
Yeah, they have the water machines all over the place, but they're all warm. I bring my own water.
I like the gyms that have a track. Like maybe on the second floor. You ever see that before? Like where like a track going around on the second floor. And people
I used to work at a gym that had a track on the second floor.
That's perfect, man. And I really liked that when I was going to a Bally's in Downey. And I think it was in Downey, and could have been that or Lakewood, but they had a track on the second floor, and then I would be in the pool on the first floor. and you would just see all these fat whales, like running, and I would just do like a backstroke, breaststroke, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you just see those fools up there on the second floor just huffing and puffing, and they're always looking down, and just like hating life. And I would always try to time, my laps, based on how many laps they've made. I'd be like, okay, when this fat whale goes around twice, I need to have done like 2 laps in the pool or 3 laps in the pool or whatever, So just base it on something like that. But when you go to the gym enough, you start to catch on to who's there and when, and like you were saying, the Asian people sometimes in the gym are funny or have really strange ways of working out or, expressing themselves when they're, releasing their energies. It's not just Asian folks, I think it's also,
people that just don't know what they're doing. Yeah, people that just don't know what they're doing.
Old people are ruthless. They're like, old people are savage too in the gym, because I remember actually inside of the sauna, there was this guy who had like one of those like little wheels with 2 handles on it, where you get on your knees.
The ab wheel.
You get on your knees, and then he would challenge everybody inside the sauna to see if they could do more ab wheels than him. And he would talk about how he was some professor and he was in his 80s, and I just remember him doing the ab wheel and just looking at his skin on his back and being like 19 or 20 as I was, and just looking at his oatmeal skin, but realizing that he was doing more ab workouts than like some fat whale guy that was in there that would like take him up on it, some young 25-year-old, 30-year-old, and I tried it, it was like, I might have.
They're hard, dude.
Yeah, it was. It's challenging, but
I used to have one. I think I hurt my shoulder on that.
Yeah, but I remember grabbing onto the handles on it because he was like challenging me to do it, and then
wet.
It was soaked, and I was like kind of in a hurry to just like, wait, dude, I don't want to do this, But yeah,
that's funny.
Good times in the gym. I definitely need to get back into the gym, and
there's this pretty cool thing because I would always do my cardio just on a treadmill, and I know my wife was really big on the Stairmaster.
Yeah.
There's this new treadmill that I've never seen before. And it doesn't run any electricity, mm-hmm. And it's called the Curve, and it's by a company called starts with Woodway. Dude, they're sweet, and it's curved like a half moon, but like this. I don't know how to explain it like this. There's it's like a picture like a hamster wheel that you're running on. And then just like the whole top part's not there, right? And it just generates its own electricity as you go, and so you can't really like turn up the speeds or anything. It's as fast as you want to go,
right?
So you can grab up on the handlebars and kind of run faster, and it burns 30% more like calories than like a regular thing would, and it does it in half the time. So you can run, like I ran on it for 5 minutes straight and burned 100 calories. That's pretty good.
Well, I feel like maybe because I'm a little like skeptic of this whole thing about it burning 30% more, because it's like, yeah, what on setting 1 maybe, but if you were to turn up a regular treadmill to setting 10 or whatever, and it's at a steep incline, then it's gonna probably match whatever that curvature of a half moon shape is giving you, because that's gonna naturally, as you're running, and I imagine there's some kind of track on it, so that it keeps pushing back as you're running forward.
Yeah.
But that's automatically, if it's going to be a crescent shape, then you're going to be going uphill a little bit.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's not flat. So if you have a flat treadmill at any angle or more, then I think you start to catch up to what that new machine.
And I don't want to quote any stats like 30% this. That's just what it says.
We do 30% more in half the time. That's just so. Yeah, come on.
But yeah, that's just what they claim.
Who said that? Or you saw that on a sign?
It says it on the actual machine. And I think it's like, I don't know. I don't want to keep quoting like a bunch of facts on it, but it's a good feeling. It's a new kind of cardio machine. And I feel like you just get more done. Dude, I'm freaking sweating my ass off in just 5 minutes, dude. I'm just like, I'm probably out of shape, but it's good, dude. My wife really likes it too. So, yeah, man, you got to get your ass back in the gym now. Yeah. I think you said it on at least 3 podcasts.
I did. And, I know that the last podcast we put out, was the New Year's one.
Yeah.
We talked about
goals,
what we were going to do on New Year's, but we didn't actually talk about how our New Year's night went. We could actually touch on that. Do you want to do that?
Sure.
Okay.
What'd you do? We'll start off with you.
Actually, I went to my...
Just sound like shit.
I know. This is getting worse. I went to my girlfriend's house. They did, the Mexican dancing, and believe it or not, they actually had a 4-player chessboard, and I'm pretty good at chess.
Really? A 4-player chessboard?
Yeah, so it's just like, you can make a move on the game, on like one guy, and you expect him to make a counter move on you, in the next play, but you're not going to get another turn until like 4 plays later. So by the time it comes back to you, he might have already countered your move, or the guy who went after him might have killed your guy, thus countering your move for you, or something like that. There's too much that can happen. You can't really have any one enemy.
Strange.
And it was a much different strategy. It's almost like I guess there could be a strategy to that, but it's too different than when you're just playing one-on-one, which I'm pretty good at, and I got beat by her cousin, maybe like a 14-year-old kid.
Ivy's been getting really into chess. She has like an app, 2 apps on her phone. She's been playing a lot.
Yeah, it's a fun game, dude. It's a fun game, but it had been a long time since I played too. So I was a little rusty, and I guess it's a tradition for them to bust out the chessboard, on New Year's. But we did that. They'd have the dancing, like at midnight. They throw confetti. It was funny because her grandpa, they throw confetti in the house to where the tile's covered in confetti. You can't see it.
It's so messy.
That much, and just imagine.
You dragged some of it home. I saw like red confetti.
Yeah, it was everywhere in my room. It was funny because her grandpa, just walked right up to me and threw an entire 2 handfuls of confetti at my clothes, and it just went into every crevice of my pockets.
He's like, some pixie dust.
He's like, hey, yeah. He threw it, but it was fun.
You can fly now.
Yeah, and then I think we watched some movies till 4 a.m. until I just passed out. I think they played we were watching Blade or something like that. Yeah, it was just after midnight. I was so toast, but everyone's still there, so you're still kind of celebrating and everything like that.
Yeah,
but it was fun. I ate a lot. It was the one party you wouldn't go to if your goal was to lose weight. Because I think. There was 2 people that made the comment that I was gaining weight, which is
damn.
Yeah,
who said that
in a fun way? I can't remember. I think it was one of her uncles, but it was funny. And then probably me, or but it's fun.
That's cool.
I'll be the first person to tell you hey, I'm feeling fat, or dang man, I definitely put on 10 pounds today or something like that. So just own it. It's just. But at the same time, I can lose weight pretty easily. Just start hitting the gym or start eating less cookies and.
Guys lose a weight a lot faster than women.
But it's fun to call each other a fat pig.
Yeah, it's fat shaming.
Hey, you fat pig. Dude, you need to get your butt in the gym. Or
yeah, dude.
Fat shaming.
Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer had this huge thing that they were fat shaming each other into getting into shape. And dude, it works.
It doesn't, does it affect you, though? If somebody said, dude, you're a fat, worthless.
It depends on the context.
Yeah, if they don't know you, then it's kind of dude, who are you?
Yeah, if it's me and you, dude, you're getting a little chubby, dude.
Yeah, you're getting, yeah.
Well, you're dude, yeah, you're right, I am.
I agree, but I have been getting a lot of new clothes lately. From you, because you grew out of all your stuff. All your shirts, and then you threw another one in there the other day. I was like,
yeah, dude, I'm
just hoping you don't lose the weight so that you want them all back.
Well, it's gonna happen because 2 years ago I went through a weight loss. I did 8 months. I dropped 80 pounds.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And then over the past 2 years, there's a little bit more, kind of stacking it back on, and. I got to a point before New Year's, and I was because I'm a large, and then all my larges were just getting tight, dude. Not that I couldn't fit in them, but just when I sit down, I can see a fat bulge in the front. You're nope, not gonna wear this shirt anymore.
Yeah.
So I gave my brother $5,000 worth of t-shirts.
A lot of good stuff.
a lot of t-shirts. They're not going to waste or anything. But getting back in the gym, dude, that stuff it'll be gone, in the next month or so. We have a Philippines trip coming up in the next couple months. I want to be nice and lean and fit for. Yeah. So I definitely want to get back into real good shape.
Yeah. You just feel healthier, dude. Overall, I think that's the point of all this. Is you just feel healthier, and I like right now. I don't think this is related to my diet, but I've been sick. This was actually starting yesterday, or I woke up today. With you get that tingle in the back of your throat. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I think it really started last night when you start getting the chills.
Yeah.
I went to go see that movie, The Last Showman.
I didn't even tell you what I did for my New Year's.
Oh yeah, what did you do? Go into that first. Let me go get some water first.
Okay. So my New Year's, we cooked up my wife made lumpia, which is like the best Filipino dish, I believe. They're basically these little egg rolls. They're little fried egg rolls that have either pork or beef in them. Some have like the French ones will have some different vegetables or something, but these ones didn't. They're frozen. So we ate those. We ate some hot links, some sliders, a couple different dishes, obviously chips, dessert, all that different crap. And then we had about 5 or 6 people over. We had a lot of fun. We were bumping music, dancing, just being goofy. And then we played. Let's see, what did we play? We played. We bought this huge Jenga, this life-size Jenga. It's like 4 feet tall. And then when you keep playing, it gets taller and taller. It starts stacking up. It's like the size of my wife. And we played that. We put a couple games of that. That was a lot of fun. We played Pie Face, which is a really fun game.
I saw the videos of that.
You saw the videos? It was hilarious. So I got a bunch of we got a bunch of people getting whipped cream in their face. That was hilarious. We played some beer pong out back. Set up a little beer pong table. That was fun. And then our neighbors were lighting off a bunch of illegal fireworks at midnight. But overall, man, it was a great time. We had a blast. Definitely was feeling it the next day. And then 8 o'clock in the morning, our parents showed up.
Yeah.
To pick up a bunch of crap up. And they're
drop stuff off.
They're want to drop some stuff off. And I was just like, oh man, I'm not in the mood to talk or anything right now. Mm-hmm. But no, overall, man, it was a good New Year's. I had a blast with the friends that came over. And it's cool to actually have a TV with cable to see the ball drop. Last year, we didn't have cable TV, so we were on the internet trying to find the ball drop, and we couldn't find it freaking anywhere, dude. So we just ended up, because me and Ivy were both sick last year on New Year's night, so we just ended up staying home, and then we couldn't find it on any website. It was kind of a bummer, but oh well.
Yeah, well, this year we got hooked up kind of just in time too with the FiOS triple play. Where you get the cable, the internet, and a
landline that nobody uses.
Yeah, a landline. We still got to get the cord for that, which is the cheapest thing to possibly buy.
It's 50 cents.
50 cents from you go to a Radio Shack or something like that. But it's nice to have it all, though. It's nice to have the cable TV because you're gonna want to watch this stuff like that. Whether it's Ryan Seacrest dropping of the ball, or going to another input and watching Netflix of Black Mirror, because Ivy's in the other room watching the whole series of Black Mirror. Right now. It's a great show, by the way.
Yeah.
Or playing PlayStation, or whatever you're doing, and
yeah, you can just kind of switch around.
It's nice to have everything.
Different mediums.
But living out, without Wi-Fi,
that was shitty.
It's and I know you have the unlimited data plan with T-Mobile, but
but I was still work. 1 bar, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, it's hard to get reception or something like that, and once you're inside of a building or anything like that. But
yeah,
I can't imagine. I know if I didn't have Wi-Fi here and at work, I would fly through my data plan, and that's what I was doing. I was going through my data plan like candy corn.
Yeah.
It's just 5 gigs. It's not enough anymore. You almost just have to get the unlimited one.
You have to.
For people like Uber drivers and stuff like that, I don't see how they can make it with any kind of a data plan.
There's no way.
It's got to be unlimited.
I was in an Uber the other night. Uber was using Google for their maps. When I jumped into this guy's cab the other night,
Probably used Waze.
We had an Uber XL, and he was using Waze.
Right.
And I was like, did you guys like merge? And he's like, oh yeah, we merged from Google to Waze now. Waze is so much better. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's rad, because Waze gives you so much more data. Like it's gonna tell you exactly when you're gonna be there. It'll give you alternate routes. And like I know with Google, it wouldn't kind of like show you like the whole route that you're gonna go.
It wouldn't update. It would just like once it gave you that route at that time, which works if it's Burger King down the street and it's 2 minutes away.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a 30-minute ride.
You're not gonna. Yeah, if you're on a 30-minute ride or you're on an hour and a half ride through traffic, there's bound to be more things happening, like more accidents, or random pileups that weren't expected, or bottlenecking, or traffic. So, the longer the drive, and the more miles you're driving, something like that, the more likely you are to run into something like that.
Yeah.
And those old Google Maps systems just a lot of times wouldn't update.
It'll tell you if there's a cop coming up.
Yeah, with Waze, you get. And they don't tell you that there's a cop. It's like a picture of a little pig, right there. Something like that. Yeah, it's like a little picture of a pig. You can actually message other Wazers. They call them Wazers, like on there. And
Waze is the business, dude. It is. I love that app. It's probably it's like it's my go-to.
Do you contribute? Do you actually
I used to.
Yeah, I used to put that there was like a cop right on our street just to see if it would work, and you get like a little picture of the pig on there.
Get like 2 likes.
Yeah, no, yeah. People can like it and they can comment and be like, "You're stupid. That's not really happening." Or
put like 13 cops on your street. People are like, "Whoa!"
Yeah. If you're in traffic, it's going to be really inconvenient for you to just like go out of your way to like put a notice on there. Like if you're going 70 and you're on the 405,
it'll ask you
they
now.
Would have to, yeah.
Are you a passenger?
That's if you're driving and you're entering in a new coordinate.
Right.
So because they don't want you to put in coordinates once you're driving. They want you to get in your car,
texting and driving,
then do it. But what they do is if your phone loses connection or something like that, or let's say it dies and then you plugged it back in, once you open up your phone, instead of you having to retype it in, it'll just say, "Hey, are you still heading to this?" And it's like, "Yes," and you just click OK and you just keep going. Thus avoiding.
Great feature.
Yeah, you're not gonna be in an accident. I was just on the 105 the other day, and I think I was coming up where it merges with the 110, and there was a guy merging. He was coming onto the 105, and I'm watching him, and he's coming onto the 105 from a ramp, and he starts to drift into the side, which is just like kind of like an uphill dirt path, and he's like, and he starts going up the little dirt. And then he busts a left as sharp as he can to get back off that dirt and onto the street. But he busts the left so fast that it flips his car. So it flips it once to where it's on the car's upside down, and then it flips again to where it's back on its 4 wheels. So he ended up back on 4 wheels, and then he turns right again just to get back to the side. Like right back to the dirt, basically to get out of the way, because now his whole car's jacked up and he's going to have to probably call CHP. But
nightmare.
Yeah, I don't know how bad they were injured or whatever, but it looked like some little sports car, maybe like a Miata or something like that. I don't know, but jacked up his car pretty good, and those little things, a couple $100,000. I don't know how much a car like that is. Maybe like 30, 40, brand new.
Mm-hmm. But easily. Dude, have you seen any good movies lately?
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say before you talked about your New Year's stuff, I was going to say that I went to, I went to see The Last Showman yesterday, and
what is that?
What I thought it was going to be was kind of like a Chicago
musical,
or like Phantom at the Opera, or just some guy singing the whole time.
La la la.
Yeah, and just always in your face, and then he falls in love with some girl in the theater, and then it's like, so one of them plays hard to get or whatever. What it was about was P.T. Barnum's circus, and how Hugh Jackman is basically collecting all the freaks in the city.
Interesting.
To bring them to his show. And he merges business with Zac Efron, and they end up having a super successful show, but this isn't like the early 1900s. And he's trying to figure out ways, to grow the business and bring people, to his show. So he had to start, going beyond like, some tightrope walker and bring people in that are super overweight or that are midgets or people that are conjoined twins or just some freak show. And a lot of the people in in the town are like, you know, they're like, you freaks, and they're just not used to that, you know, and they end up burning the entire thing down. And they use the little money they have to carry on their legacy with by basically just putting up a giant tent. They couldn't afford another building, and that's where the iconic P.T. Barnum tent came from, you know, for like the circus show. It was a good movie. I actually really liked it.
That's a cool concept. I had no idea. I haven't even honestly heard about that movie.
Neither had I. I wouldn't have ever went and saw it if she didn't say anything.
Yeah.
But it was good, you know, and afterwards it was... I kind of wanted it to just be her night, you know, like where it was like, okay...
You pick it.
You pick it out. You know, after we got out, we went... She saw a boba place. She loves boba. She's, oh my God, you know, so we went and got boba, and they had a fireplace. We went over to the Long Beach Town Center. I haven't been over there in a while. The last time we did go there to go Christmas shopping a little bit. We talked about that, but... They have a giant fireplace over there, like right in front of the theater box office. And it's really nice.
You can fit like 30 people around it.
Yeah, it's huge. And we went and got we got some bobas, and then we sat over by the fire. And then, but it's changed a lot over there. Like they used to have
boba.
Got some boba. It was all Asians in there except for us.
But you want the tapioca ball?
It was cool. That's exactly what it is. But it's changed a lot. You know, like I remember. You know, what they do still have over there is they have like this Starbucks like right at the entrance, and I remember buying my first Starbucks ever at that location.
Really?
It was a caramel frappuccino, like the most sugared out drink you can get.
Those were the business then.
Yeah, because like we were, you know, early teenagers right when Starbucks really hit, you know, in Southern California when they started popping up everywhere, and that was the first one that I ever bought was right there at the Long Beach Town Center. And right next door to it, there was it was GameStop, you know, in most of its lifetime. But before GameStop was GameStop, there was called Funko Land. You'd go in there and they'd have Super Nintendos hooked up to TVs, Sega Genesis hooked up to TVs, Nintendos, PlayStations. You can go in there and play a game. They'd have all these TVs, and they'd have all the actual cartridges before they were discs inside these giant bins, you know, and you'd flip through them, and they'd all have a sticker on the back, you know, with say a little price of $3.99, $4.99. You bring it home and peel that sticker off the back, and it'd always have like that goo on the back of it, you know, that you could never actually get off, and it would collect dirt on there. And
unless you have goo-gone.
Yeah, or goo-gone. Yeah, I bought some of that. I had to get some gum out of the carpet at my old apartment, and used goo-gone, and it worked.
I got that when we had a bunch of like picture frames for our wedding, and I had to take up all the stupid little tags on there. So that stuff works great.
Oh, it does. Yeah. It's like what it's taken off is like the latex, you know, and gum, you know, is made of latex. So, or you know, mostly is latex, and that's why it'll get it right out of the carpet without taking the color out of the carpet. And so goo-gone, you can use it for anything. But yeah, anytime you have something with stickers on there, or you know, and you peel it off and you have all the exact shape of that sticker, or that you know, that's
like a super oil base. You can even just use like a razor to like scrape off, like if you like a price tag or something on like a box or a picture frame or like whatever,
right? And
that just gets it right off real quick.
And you start learning these things. You know, you just pick them up as you go. You know, like I was showing you the other day when I was washing my car, where I work in Santa Monica. There's these trees that drop sap, all over my car. And I was looking for the alcohol something, you know, rubbing alcohol. All I could find was your wife's nail polish.
Yeah.
Brought it out.
Nail polish remover.
Yeah, the nail polish remover. Put it on a little rag, and I was like, watch this. And I was like, try to rub off, you know, the sap with just the rag and some water.
It's impossible.
You couldn't get it off. I put a little drop of that, you know, nail polish remover on there.
Right off.
Took it right off. Yeah, so if you don't know that, you could use that.
That's a nice life hack.
Mm-hmm. But if you use rubbing alcohol, the life hack, if you use rubbing alcohol, it'll take it right off. If you ever get sap on your car, and every time I wash my car, there's 3 or 4 giant blotches of it on there, you know. But I don't freak out. If you let it sit there for a long time, it'll eventually connect with the paint, and once you pull it off, then it's your car's ruined, your paint's ruined. But if you get it off, you know, where it's still fresh in the first few weeks, then you're fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie was good though. And the one other movie I saw prior to that was Jumanji. That was one I actually really liked. And I know if you're familiar with the 90s Jumanji, it came out. It was with Robin Williams. And it probably came out in 95 or 6. It was a breakthrough for CG.
I love
CGI.
that movie.
Yeah, it was good. You got rhinoceroses running everywhere, and Rob Williams getting sucked into a game board. It's a cool movie. I went and saw the new one though. It's totally different, than what the original one was, and it had an entirely different concept.
1995 is when it came out.
So in the original movie, you have a game board. And this movie takes the same, basically there's an actual board game that they're playing. And in the mid-90s, that was super practical. Everyone had board games, whether it was Monopoly or Hi-Ho Cherry-O or Balderdash. Now, you have a kids playing games, but they're all video games or handheld devices, and that's just where we're at. So if they're going to make a game, if they're going to make a movie about a game where kids get sucked into it, then of course it's going to be a video game.
Sure.
And in this one, they have the game Jumanji, and it's still got the pounding sound, dum 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 dum, and but they get sucked into this game, where they actually pick their players, and you have this, this big kid, and then who's kind of like the bully, and then the skinny, scrawny kid and some girl and everything like that, and they get sucked in, and the players that they choose look completely different than what their real life personas are. And the players that they choose, the actors that they got to be in the game as the player were like The Rock and Jack Black. So some girl actually picked some scientist played by Jack Black, and so it was a girl inside of Jack Black's body, which was probably, I thought, pulled it off the best. The scrawny kid was his player was The Rock.
Right.
So for the first time in his life, he's getting to experience what it's like to be some macho man. And then
there's the big buff black jock dude.
So in the movie,
he turned into Kevin Hart.
His player that he picked was played by Kevin Hart. So his player was Kevin Hart. So he got sucked into the game. But now he's like this little tiny black guy, And
he's like, "Hey man, where'd I go, man?"
Yeah, but the cool thing was that it totally flipped the switch, because where he's used to being the big guy in the video game,
right,
he can actually get punked by The Rock. Which is the skinny kid in real life,
right,
in the movie, and but it's all in your mind in the game, So when they first start in the video game of Jumanji, they don't realize that they could really be who they are in the game, where The Rock can punk Kevin Hart, but Kevin Hart, who is embodied by some big guy, thinks that he's still a big guy, but he's not in this game, and he can get pushed around.
Right.
But little Kevin Hart in the game is still pushing everybody else around and acting like he's the big man, but until they figure out, no, we could take this guy, and The Rock finally, punches him right in the face, and you kind of get that payoff, and it was a beautiful thing.
It was a well put together movie. It was funny. There was some serious laugh out loud moments.
Oh, a lot, yeah.
I liked a lot of Jack Black's part because he went in as like a little like valley white girl, like, oh my god, but he totally played that character,
right? Yeah,
like not gay, but like like a total just valley girl, just a little preppy, like it was hilarious.
Yeah, there's a fine line there too, because Jack Black could have acted gay, and it would have still been funny, but the way he was acting didn't seem like a gay guy. It seemed like he was really this girl.
He played her.
It felt like no, he's the girl from the movie that picked him as the player.
She was like
marquee.
Always on her phone.
Right. Yeah.
I had like no cell service here. Like, oh my god.
So she gets sucked into his body, and you still feel like that's the same girl.
Yeah.
It was very well done.
Yeah.
The movie was great.
For sure, go see it.
Completely different, than the original. Just it's probably just as good. But the original still kind of hits home for me. I still think it's a great movie. If I was to watch, if I had both those movies stacked side by side now, I'd probably pick the new one. I like, there's a lot of great moments, There was probably more laugh out loud moments than the original. The original almost felt like a thriller for kids, where it wasn't supposed to be funny. Mm-hmm. The point of it was to be kind of like, ooh, like what's going to happen? Or like, it's more of an adventure thriller for children, but it was done in a way where it was actually, kind of dark, it was kind of scary, man. Like, because, I remember Robin Williams, the little boy who plays him before he's like lost in the jungle for so many years, there's a little kid that plays him, and he gets sucked into that game board. I remember that that image burning into my brain, at such a young age. And that other girl, Sarah Whittle, who grows up on the same street, he comes back after like 30 years, and she's she's at this point has tried to forget about that incident, you know, and what happened in 1972.
He got sucked into the game.
Yeah, he's like, you remember me? And she's like, no, I've been trying to forget for so long. But it was good.
Dude,
go watch Jumanji.
That was probably the first time that I had been to the movies in like 2 years.
Right, yeah.
Because I haven't been to the movies in a long time.
Oh, really?
I just really haven't really wanted to see anything, and then, you know, just been busy or whatever. It could have been less than maybe a year and a half. So we go to this new theater, the Harkins Theater in Cerritos.
That's a good theater.
Yeah, it's a nice theater. And we're like, we get there an hour early. You know, we're going to get some good seats. We get there, and it's been a couple weeks since the movie's been out. So I'm like, all right, it's going to die down a little bit. We'll be good.
Jumanji.
Okay. Yeah, and you know, we get there, we pay the admission. You know, it's $5,000 to get in for 2 people. And so they, it's pretty cool because you could pick your seats, right?
Right. Yeah.
There was like
a new feature too.
Yeah. So there was literally no seats available except for the very, very front row. Actually, the one behind it. And then I'm like, all right, well, what about the next one? You know, it's like an hour and a half later, we'll go to Cheesecake Factory or something to get some food. And they're like, oh, that one's actually all sold out too. I'm like, God dang it. So my wife's like, let's just go sit in the front. You know, if it's not, you know, if it's terrible, we'll leave and we'll go somewhere else. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go in, and it's the second to the first row. Thank God they're reclining chairs.
Right, yeah.
You know, which is cool.
Yeah.
So I was able to kind of lean back. Way more comfortable. They have, it's pretty crazy. They have a child care there. Like, you can drop your screaming kids off there. And then they had a bar in there. Yeah. You know, where you can, I think that's pretty
progressive now. Theaters are different now, man. It's a different scene. You know, like.
It's another way to make money. And, you know, I got a brewski before we went in. And I'm like, all right, man, this isn't too bad because I can lean back and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes later, the movie's about to start. There's, you know, probably 7 chairs open next to me on my left.
Yeah.
This Hispanic family comes in with like a mom and dad and like 5 kids. And they all like line up and sit next to me. And I get it. It's a kind of a child's movie, but kind of not.
Right.
And these kids were young, dude, like real young, like 3, 4, 5. Like one of the kids wasn't even sitting on the seat; he was like sitting on his dad's lap.
Yeah.
And every freaking 10 minutes, he's just like, and just like, oh my god, dude, I was getting like so impatient.
Sounds fun.
I was like freaking out, and I'm just like, this freaking kid, dude, he won't shut up. And then finally, like midway through the movie, I went to go take a pee, and I saw like one of the guys that kind of look in the room, and I'm like, no, dude, there's this kid who just won't shut the heck up, and it's kind of ruining the movie, dude. I'm paying $16.50 or whatever for these seats each, you know, and I'm invested into this shit, and you know, he's ruining for me, this little kid. Yeah. And I mean, he wasn't doing anything terrible, but it's still, man, you don't want some kid whining. It's like going on a flight and you're hearing some crying baby. You're like, God dang it, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
But he kind of cried through the whole thing. The guy went and like said something to them, and like 5 minutes later, the kid was like, And I was like, God dang it, whatever, man.
I feel like from a podcast,
it's like, this is 9 o'clock, man. Aren't you supposed to be in bed?
You know, I think from a listener point of view, they're gonna be like, "Well, why can't you just handle this kid crying or whatever?" That's why you're being a dick about it. But the reality is, if you're actually in that theater too, and you paid this money, you're trying to just watch the movie. If that kid's crying like right in your ear, you're probably gonna be annoyed as well. You know. So
I mean, dude, you have
put him in the
your movie,
care.
Your tickets. one or two drinks,
cocoa or something.
You have, you know, some like food, whatever. Dude, it's like $50-$60. You're already invested in this movie, and I'm sitting in the very freaking front of the theater, which pretty pissed me off already. And then to have some kid 3 seats next to you just crying, I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah. Well, the whole, and going back to like the whole pick your seats ahead of time, I like that, you know, because I remember when you went and watched Jumanji, you said it's not like the old days, you know, where you get there early and you can just go get your seats, and it's like. Yeah, but think about it this way. You're right. It's not like the old days where you have to go stand there for an hour and waste that hour just because you wanted to get a good seat. If you just buy your seats that morning or an hour before, you know, online, you don't have to waste time. You just go online and buy them, and then you show up. You could show up right when the movie starts. And
it's a great idea.
And your seats are still available because you picked them out way ahead of time.
It sucks for cheap people like me because my wife, back in the day, and I would go to the movies and go see like 3 movies in a row.
Right, yeah.
Now you can't because it's you're picking out your seats unless it's an empty theater.
Right. Yeah. Then you
but I think that they could still kind of tell.
Like a baseball game, where you can kind of bounce around seats, unless. But if people come and they're like, "Hey, we chose these," but when I was at like Edwards last night, it wasn't like that. It was on a first come first served basis, and we got lucky. If it's when you have a party of 3, 4, or 5, then it becomes difficult. But there's usually always like 2 chairs available.
Yeah.
But it must have been really crowded that night.
For me, I like
Jumanji.
I like to be in the middle of the theater, in the middle seat.
Right.
That's like prime time.
I like upper middle for some reason.
Yeah,
but the worst is sitting right in the very front.
The cool thing is the chairs were all like leather, like lazy boy type chairs.
Yeah,
and they go all the way back. Yeah, some huge cup holders.
Yeah,
I'm like, all right, this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, those chairs are about 10 times better than the super stiff desk type chair. Where it's like sitting straight up and it's like the really worn out like fabric on there. With, like there's always gum stuck to the seat.
Yeah.
And, old popcorn oils just embedded into the seat. Those things
it just smells nasty. In there like there's like a leak or something, and it just smells like old water.
Yeah, a lot of those newer, a lot of the AMCs, for example, and like Santa Monica that I've been to, a lot of them are like that. I think the first ones that started doing that were it was happening in Fullerton. Everyone was going to the Fullerton AMC or something like that to go to the recliner chairs and where you can take food into the theater, and or you can order a drink to your theater, and it was like some big deal.
Yeah.
And I've actually been to that theater you went to at the bar, and they had a childcare. That theater is zooped out, man. And
it's nice.
The cool thing about that theater that I really liked was the only time I've ever been to that theater was during the summertime. They actually play old films or like older movies, which are like movies from our lifetime, and even older stuff than that. Every like Friday night or Saturday night. So while most of the theaters are dedicated to new stuff, everyone knows it's the most fun to go to the movies in the theater, or in the theater on a summer night.
Yeah.
When it's super hot and you just want to go sit there and soak up the air conditioner, and they choose like these blockbuster films from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s to play for you to go enjoy. So like we actually watched one from the set. We watched Jaws. I went with Mom and Dad and Bella and Michelle and Trevor. I think Trevor was there. Cole maybe, and Jessica. And but on the marquee you can see like what they're playing, every Friday. So they had like Top Gun playing like the next Friday, and then after that it was Jurassic Park, and then
nice.
The week after was like Independence Day or something like that. All these movies that you're familiar with, that you grew up with, and you would love to see on the big screen again.
Yeah,
because
it's a good idea.
I have all those movies. We had them on VHS. We had them on DVD or Blu-ray now. But if I can go watch Terminator 2 or Jurassic Park on a big screen again, that's really, you got to take advantage of stuff like that, dude. Because the soundtracks to those movies and the visual effects on them are just groundbreaking. To see that on a big screen, it's just, if you could relive that. I never got to see Jurassic Park, on a big screen when I was a kid, because it came out in 93 or 4, when I was too young.
Yeah.
But I saw it they had a 25 maybe year anniversary for the film, I think, over at Edwards in Long Beach, and they played it, and I took advantage of it. Go do that if you see a movie you really like. Like today I was watching the first Terminator, which I never watched. And you're like, you just like watching the same movies over and over again. A lot of them, yeah. You just become familiar with certain movies you really like.
Yeah.
And you kind of pick those out, and I like all those movies. But, dude, I honestly, this is a shorter podcast, but I'm really, I think my body's tapping out right now.
It's all good,
I'm
man.
losing it, man.
It's all good. We're going to save that vocal cords.
We'll have a comeback episode coming up soon. Tommy and I have a lot of material to still cover. It's early in the year. We'll keep you updated. I know Libsyn has all these crazy new updates. I'm getting used to that with putting new stuff up. But you'll hear from us soon. We love you guys.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Keep listening.
We love you.
We'll catch you soon. Chicka chicka. Bye. Love you.
I love you.
I love you a long time.